Thank you for staying with us. In a decisive move aimed at strengthening Nigeria's internal security and reclaiming forest reserves from criminal activity, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the establishment of a National Forest Guard. The significant development was announced as part of the federal government's strategic effort to curb insecurity and restore peace in Nigeria's rural and forested regions. The initiative, jointly coordinated by the Office of the National Security Advisor and the Federal Ministry of Environment, is designed to secure the nation's 1,129 forest reserves, many of which have become safe havens for armed groups, kidnappers, and other criminal elements. Joining us in our Abuja studio is security expert Patrick Agbambu. Good morning, Patrick. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Now, the matter of ungoverned spaces, especially our forests, have become a major concern for the government, the current administration, and so they are looking at recruiting about 130,000 forest guards to secure and man over 1,129 forest reserves across the country. I'm wondering from your perspective if this is a step in the right direction, and what can forest guards do that the military have not been able to achieve?
Yeah, thank you so much. I must say that for me, I'm one Nigerian that is happy about this because for many years now, I have clamored that there is need for government to occupy and utilize our ungoverned spaces, our spaces that have been left ungoverned for years, and which has become a sanctuary, like you said in your intro, to these criminals. It's a welcome development. It's what I believe every Nigerian must support if we must get over this intractable insecurity we are facing today. So it's a good idea, it's good, and it's timely.
Okay, the federal government is looking at recruiting 130,000, and we have 1,229 thereabout forests that need that attention. Look at the ratio of the people we are planning on employing and the amount of forest that we have to guard. Let's take that into consideration. Number two, terrains are different in the different parts of the country. Some parts of the country have rainforest that makes it really difficult to police. What about the training? Is it going to be, are they going to train these people according to the forest they will be guarding? And do we have enough time taking into consideration the security situation in the country?
Yeah, I must say that is where I have a big of a disagreement about the workability of the forest guards with the way it's been proposed or being planned by the government. Because as it is right now, creating another agency will be counterproductive. We have seen how various security agencies have been created at the turn of events, and how effective have they been if you don't consider that there is need to strengthen what you have already. For me, I believe that a forest guard should be an arm or a division in the Nigerian Armed Forces because for now they have the training. All you need to do is to improve the manpower that you have there. And because, again, the capacity and the operationalization, what arms are you going to give to them to carry? Because in most of our forests today, you have criminals, fully armed, even with a higher grade of arms and ammunition, higher than what conventionally the Nigerian police or other security services uses. So I think that it's something that government really need to sit down, and it's a good idea, but there's need to look at a lot of other aspects of how it will work and not just being another agency that will be counterproductive.
Few days ago, when we started talking about Forest Guard, I realized that there is an existence of Nigerian forest security services, and then the president has ordered that the recruitment of 130,000 armed operators will secure all of these forests, and these are the people to face, very fierce Boko Haram fighters, terrorists. Let me just call them terrorists. Face ISWAP, face illegal miners, and so on and so forth, in collusion with people from outside of the country. How are we so sure that, or how do we safeguard, against these people being attacked or these people being overwhelmed, because they are meant to guard the forest? How do we ensure that the forests do not swallow the guards themselves?
Yeah. Is it like I was just saying now? Is it just because there's need to come out with what your operational methodology of this guy, the tax and the mandate you're setting for them, and the capacity they have to carry. Today we have we still have some forest security, but they just go there to just look around and vacate or avoid areas where these criminals are for their own safety. So I believe for us to be able to get this idea effectively on the ground, we need to be to appraise each of these forests, like you also earlier said about the different types and the shades and the makes of these forests, to be able to design specific operational methodology for each of them. For instance, you can take what we have today, or take any forest guard that is less armed than what the military have to go to any of the forests in the northern region. Even in the southeast, it will be counterproductive because these people will actually be messed up with. Today, we are dealing with assault rifles, even some of them using general purpose machine guns and all that. So for it to actually be effective, we need to sit down and appraise each of these locations on its own strength. Then again, who is the federal government engaging them? How are they going to coordinate with the various state governments? Because I know that some of these forests are also under the administration of the state government. Are the state governments going to be bought into these ideas to agree to it? Some state governments have also set up their own machinery, their own internal security. How are they going to liaise? Are they going to submerge together so that we can have local knowledge of those areas? Because some of these people know the areas very well. So there are a lot of things I think that the government right now should consider effectively before it can come out to talk of recruitment. And the numbers being brandished about 130,000 will be insignificant, totally insignificant and counterproductive. We have in the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps what they call Safe School Guards initiative, but their effects have not been felt yet because the number is actually very, very minimal and it's not helping. So we should not just create another agency, where we can tap from what we already have existing and strengthen it and improve the numbers.
Now, talk to us how vulnerable our forest or ungoverned spaces are that are being taken advantage of by these persons. That's talking about the terrorists. And then what it is that the military have been unable to do, that the forest guards are now coming in to somewhat fill in the gap. I remember asking that question earlier.
Yes. Yeah, I also said that we have different types of forests. We have forests that share international borders with other neighboring countries. We have internal forests. Those that share international borders have become access to some of these criminals, all shades of criminals, terrorists and bandits and even kidnappers, ferrying some some of their victims across to other countries. Those ones are more deadlier than what we can talk of internal aggressors. But again, what you need to do is that the military itself has various divisions and various formations and with various purposes. I believe that the military we have in Nigeria can handle any assignment you give to them. All you need to do is to strengthen or support with relevant equipment and all the support, political will and all that for them to do it. Again, I must say that the intelligence is key in this regard, because the intelligence needs to be able to be up and doing in ensuring that we monitor those who are coming in and the purpose they are coming in with. One other aspect that needs to be considered urgently is our relationship with our neighboring countries. How has it been? Today we are having big challenges with Chad, Niger, and Cameroon, and all those who should have support. But with the disagreement with ECOWAS is becoming a bit of a problem. So we need to quickly, just like the Chief of Defense Staff started diplomatic moves, we need to strengthen that move to be able to buy these people to support whatever operations we need to commence. It's very, very important and it's urgent that this has to start, and this is the time to strengthen and all areas to ensure that our forests are protected.
All right. Another area of concern for me is it's a good idea to say let's have forest guards and so on. But what about the funding? Do we have the capacity, financial capacity to run an efficient service? Talking about the forest guards now, when our traditional security agencies are not as funded as they should be. Now, creating a new one, do you see funding problems?
Definitely, that is the biggest challenge we are going to have, or we're already having. The already existing security services are groaning. They are crying for funds. They are lacking a lot of needed. Even operational funds are not given to them. They are not getting it. The amount that being appropriated the National Assembly and signed into law by Mr. President, what is the percentage of each disbursement? So really, we can get these funds if we really put our house together. There's need for government to block all leakages in terms of funding. Nigeria can actually prioritize some of all these issues because security is very, very important. When you prioritize security, then all other social developments and economy will improve. And I think that it's time for government to declare what I could call maybe a state of emergency in funding of a security sector, because it's very, very essential. And security equipment, one of the challenges we're having with funding with our security sector is that most of the things that are needed for the security personnel to carry out their works are imported. They are not locally manufactured. We don't have them here. So it's quite expensive to get, and even you can't get it even from the shelves. You need to place orders, and so a lot of attention needs to be paid in terms of funding of this security. Take, for instance, the Air Force getting a workable platform and to be able to execute. Some of these bombs they need cost as much as $200,000 per one. And imagine what that means. And when the average Nigerian hear that amount, he thinks that, oh, they have given the Air Force so much money. But it doesn't go anywhere. It's just a drop in the ocean. So funding is a major problem. But I believe that Nigeria, putting its hearts together, can actually fund security effectively.
We've been talking about security, insecurity, and how to stem the tide. But then there is this constant call for true federalism, restructuring, and as a matter of fact, state police. So I'm wondering how, looking at the creation of Amotekun, Ebibuagu, etc., how these forest guards fit into the broader narrative of state policing? Because it does appear that the federal government is bent on, creating this, just waiting the president assent. Do you suspect, how it fits into the broader narrative of state police, and at the same time, when they're eventually created, do you suspect that they might lack a defined rules of engagement among security agencies?
Yeah, definitely. There will be clashes between security agencies. As it is today, I know that the Amateku also operate in some of the forests in some of those the states in the southwest, and their structure is a bit stronger and well defined than that of Ebubago in the southeast. But be that as it may, they're also having challenges in terms of remuneration and all that, and the equipment. So it's a big problem, because the way it is today, state governments cannot effectively fund security. Federal government need to, unless if the allocation formula has to be adjusted to be able to empower the state government to have more funds to fund security. Even talking about the state police is also be a big of a challenge, because as it is today, many state governments are owing basic salaries, and imagine giving them power to have their own police. How would they be able to fund it? But there are a lot of constitutional issues that needs to be put in place before you can talk of state police or effective state security structures here. So until then, I think there will be a lot of problems. Today, we're having one of the challenges we're having in the security sector is lack of effective strategy, synergy between the security forces. There seems to be a lot of competition among them. Creating another one will heighten and even create more problems for the Nigerian society. I think that the platforms we have already, these structures we have already could be looked into and have a well-defined arrangement where either create, like I said earlier, create a division or a formation in the Nigerian Armed Forces, or strengthen the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, or create an agency, a department there that can handle this. Whatever you can do, it's better to have it than to create a fresh agency that would duplicate or create more problems in terms of funding. We need to gather the money together, the resources we have in already existing agency to be able to carry out this assignment, because it will be quite expensive creating another agency, calling it Forest Guard, whereas we can tap from what we have and improve on the numbers, the manpowers, and the equipment.
Interesting. I'm still staying with this matter of funding because the state government are said to be receiving more allocation as it is from the federal government. And when you look at the tax bill, they'll still get much more as it moving forward. But isn't it high time they begin to take responsibility for some of these things that government is trying to do to ensure their states are safe? Aren't they supposed to work hand in glove with the federal government to achieving this? They still get security votes. What are they doing with this monies? Nigerians are asking these questions. When we know we have issues, why can't we just look inward and address them head on as against seeking to push responsibility to just the federal government?
You're right. You see, we have a loose end in our, when we talk about the three levels of government in Nigeria, the local government, the state level, and the federal level. I will tell you that the state level has failed Nigerians because some of the problems a lot of Nigerians look up to the federal government should be handled or should have been handled by the state governments. But they don't do anything as it is other than to pay salaries. Roads are terrible, and even the salaries in some states, they are being owed and all that. There seems to be nonchalant about the welfare and the care of which is the basic necessity of governance, which is the well-being of the citizens. It's been a big challenge within the states, and they earn more now. Even though I know that some of them will argue that even though they get more allocation, the inflation have also gone higher, and so it may not reflect, it may not be so much at par to what they're getting now. But I think that apart from Lagos State, and I make bold to say it, apart from Lagos State, most other states in the Federation have actually failed in terms of funding and support of security sector. And that is a very big challenge. I've always advocated that there's need for other states to emulate what Lagos State is doing, because Lagos State is tapping not only from what the state government would do, but the corporate bodies and individuals within the states have decided to also help fund security through the Lagos State Security Trust Fund. And I think other states should emulate this. Federal government tried to set up a trust fund for the police, but they are embroiled in a lot of controversies going on right now. They've not been successful. The model in Lagos State can be taken to be able to advance the issue of funding for security in Nigeria. But be that as it may, the state governors have not been fair to security and to Nigerians in protecting them. They are leaving the responsibility fully to the federal government because they believe that the security is in an exclusive list. But I think that if you are elected as a governor of a state, you are the chief security officer, you have power, you have the right to be able to spend to protect your people. So they can make ways, they can seek for alternative ways of getting funding to support security in their states. For me, I would describe it as nonchalance and laziness on their part for not doing what they should do and waiting on the federal government alone.
All right. I would have loved to take you on your first statement when we started the interview that you're one Nigerian that really supports the idea of the Forest Guard. And in the same breath, you're also telling us that maybe they would have created departments in the existing security structures that we have, funded better and employ more. But unfortunately, we don't have time to take your reaction to that. Right. When next we have you in our studios, that's the first question.
That will be the first question. Anyways.